嗨，各位观众，我们现在你们收看的到是周正访谈美丽人生。那我特别邀请到了加利福尼亚大学桑伯蒂诺分校3位博士呢，他们谈到了人工智能。I want to ask you a question. How about the research of the universe? So right now, we're human beings, our science cannot reach there very far, another planet. So how we use artificial intelligence to predict another planet, or what does it really have a life in that planet? What's your opinion?
Well, I think humans will always try to make those kinds of predictions. And I would say with the artificial intelligence tool, maybe we have certainly better tools to try to make guesses. I think it certainly will make things more exciting, but I think there's always going to be a lot of uncertainty. The one thing is that we are able to process large amount of data, the whole big data analysis. So if we're getting all sorts of data from the universe, from the planets, from the stars, and we now have the tools to combine all that and draw some conclusions, we might be able to make interesting predictions that we weren't able to make before. But on the other hand, they are just predictions. What will come true will depend, as Dr. Jojo mentioned, on so many unpredictable factors, random events, that I think whatever we predict will be a guideline. It will guide us in terms of development, research, where we're heading. But we should not believe that these certain things will happen necessarily as we are predicting them. I mean, if case in point, for example, California earthquakes.
Yeah.
How good are we at predicting those earthquakes? Not very good.
Not very good.
Not very
I know
good,
that.
despite everything. So,
Yeah.
so if we can't predict, the next big earthquake hitting California, how could we predict things about the universe and when will we reach,
Yeah.
new Earth-like planets and those sorts of things?
So that's why my question is, right now, artificial intelligence, we can be self-driving, we can be do research of the universal, we can do research of the play chess, we can win the human being, or we can be used by a lava robot or running of a. So why there is no artificial intelligence? They can predict the earthquake, like the California, like the Los Angeles. So why they cannot invent their artificial to predict earthquake?
Well, there are so many factors and some are hidden. For example, certain pressures in the earth and so forth that we cannot really detect. And even if we detect those pressures, we cannot really know when some area of the earth will rupture. Just, sometimes things happen in an unpredictable way and they take an unpredictable path. All of a sudden, just like the stock market, no one can predict that tomorrow it will crash, but sometimes it happens, and the experts who are working every day with these things cannot predict it. Simply, in complex systems, the right conditions exist, and something happens, but to predict it is very difficult.
Okay, like the Dr. Sun said, the artificial intelligence AI cannot compare human being's brain or our ability or skills. So because my understanding, okay, I'm not just host, the media person, my understanding, because we're human always, or as scientists or AI expert, we give information to them, we created them. So is there the new AI can be learned by themselves? They can integrate all the human beings knowledgeable, fast. They can copy. Also, they can learn. They can learn new knowledge. They can create innovation, new things that will be more powerful. That is good, can predict the earthquake of the California. What's your opinion about this point?
Well, I would say what you're talking about, the artificially intelligent system, any intelligent system will always process knowledge to come to conclusions. And when it comes to things like earthquakes, the way the earth functions, the way the atmosphere, I think the knowledge, the rules that govern those kinds of systems are not known to us.
Yeah.
So you cannot make predictions based on knowledge that is missing. We don't have the knowledge. We do not know. So as Dr. Jochu said, if there's pressures underneath the crust of the earth, where it ruptures, where it is going to tear, if it's going to happen, we have the San Andreas Fault running by our campus in San Bernardino. If it's going to rupture right there behind the university, or maybe all the way up in San Francisco, or in the desert, the knowledge to predict, to calculate, to compute this, we don't have it.
So that
And acquiring knowledge, and we have computer systems now that try to autonomously learn through observation, but observation only goes so far. How do you sense the rules that govern the functioning of, the
Sorry.
physical system? So we do not know everything yet, and neither do the machines. We're all limited in that regard.
So their AlphaGo can win the champion of the human being because I read it somewhere Google from there because they have all the details. They know all the play chess of that. That in other words, I want, for example, why the AI AlphaGo can win the human beings by chess. Why another AI they can collection all the human being, what's the earthquake that happened in many years, hundreds of years, the collection all the knowledge, information, and numbers, then predict the future, what happened today, more exactly.
Well, think about it. Go or chess are as complicated as they are, as hard as the game is to win. They're very simple systems. Think about what a Go board is. It is a square. I don't know what the dimensions are with the Go board, how many dots we have on one side, but let's say they're 20 by 20. We have red and white stones to be placed in certain locations. That opens up a lot of possibilities, but compared to the planet Earth, the universe, that is a very, very simple system.
Yeah.
So
I heard
just
right now I'm
because
standing.
you could do that,
And right now I'm standing.
know?
Because this earth is a much more hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of complicated
Exactly.
than a chess. Right now I got a conclusion.
坐落于钻石坝的老成都川菜馆是由四川特级名厨和专业管理团队打造的餐饮品牌企业。自开业以来，其正宗地道的川菜佳肴受到了众多消费者的一致好评。无论是本地食客，还是远道而来的中外客人，都为品尝到正宗美味的川菜而津津乐道，流连忘返。老成都川菜馆现承接公司、教会、社团、学校、社区及家庭各类 partner 的订餐服务，近期将开展预订优惠的订餐活动，详情请咨询909-367-2829或来电洽谈。1220 South Diamond Bar Boulevard, Suite D, Diamond Bar, California 91765.
Hi everybody. 刚才我们聊到了关于人工智能关于聊到了这个 AlphaGo 赢了这个围棋高手冠军我们刚才聊到了这个 Dr. Stern 聊到了关于这个地震地震呢，它的跟这个是没有可比性的，因为地震我们现在掌握的数据是没办法跟围棋的数据，它要复杂性的多得多。好的we talk about another thing. So can we change the subject?
Absolutely.
About the AI, because a month ago, I met a bunch of people. I get the introduction of because I'm a media person. They say there is AI. They use AI technology can solve the website. They use a half second. They can create the new website. They can do the collaborate all the collection, all the information and the pages, for the binaries of the pages, that at the half second they can create the new website. So what the AI will be used, like the media or everyday life or something? What's your opinion about this?
I think it is being used already, as you say, and from what I have heard, there's even software out right now that writes reports based on spreadsheets. There's even software that writes newspaper articles about certain topics. I mean, that's what I've heard. I mean,
correct.
I read a lot of material. I don't know if I've ever read anything that was written, authored by a program. Maybe I have. We don't
By
know.
the AI, you don't know. Okay, got it.
So I think a lot of this is possible, but I think when it comes to a website or when it comes to, let's say we're doing a report based on a spreadsheet or an article about a certain topic, probably what the software is doing right now is very much based on patterns. You know, there are certain patterns available, certain patterns associated with certain topics, with certain objectives, and those patterns are then being filled in with information. And the technology and the knowledge and the expertise to do these sorts of things, we have those.
Yeah, recommender systems that were mentioned earlier are part of our everyday lives. For example, if you go on Amazon and you buy something or you browse something, you will see recommendations for you, and those are there, and as a result of very sophisticated algorithms and that look into data of millions of people, what others bought with this item, what others browsed with when they browsed this item. So they make very targeted marketing. They market to you in a very targeted way, and also they gather a lot of information about you, about us, our habits, our needs, our history, buying history, our demographic, what age we are, what we like, and so forth. We have kids and so forth. And they make those recommendations. Those are very sophisticated systems, and they exist there, and they make a lot of money for the companies that use that type of artificial intelligence.
How about education? How you use AI, artificial intelligence, for your future education? It's especially like the future, like the non-distance, far distance education. What do you think about that?
Well, of course, there is distance learning where education can be delivered from a long distance through computers and through other means. There are other aspects like plagiarism detection that we would like to avoid plagiarism using artificial intelligence systems. There are artificial intelligence systems that design the course in a personalized way to the student. Just like you mentioned that a website is being created in that half second, that can happen also with education. The system goes with the pace of the student. Mm-hmm. And that's one area that I think it will develop more and more as we go on, to personalize the learning experience of individual students.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of that going on. And in fact, I myself have, I mean, it is not a program I would commercially sell, but I have written learning programs for my own kids for their studying. And what you want to do there is you want to write a program that sort of adapts to the level of your child, that will measure what they can and what they cannot do, and then target the problem areas. So I think there are good applications there, because when it comes to learning, there's only one teacher and very, very many kids in the classroom. So one teacher could focus on one child. Even for a teacher, it is sometimes difficult to understand what the child's problem is and how to best address it. So if you have software that is able to identify, to diagnose the kid's strengths and weaknesses, and then present material accordingly, that could be very powerful.
So we're talking about their question about the self-driving. That's everybody care. So right now, Google or another every big companies, they have the big passion, so much passion to create. Even Uber, they invite the self-driving car. They really send the car, it's written test, but I've heard of the news right now, there are accident of the self-car. What do you think of the self-driving?
I think the self-driving cars, as difficult as it is to imagine for us who like to drive our own cars, I think it is definitely something that is going to happen in the future. And I think there is good and bad about it. I think one of the better aspects is that, okay, not everybody is a good driver. So if we had very good systems, collisions could be avoided, driving could be safer, people wouldn't fall asleep on the wheel. On the other hand, if the software malfunctioned, horrible accidents could happen, massive pileups and so forth. And of course, then the question is whose fault it is, who's at fault. So I think it is something that is going to happen in the future, but it will open a lot of questions, a lot of ethical questions. For example, if a terrible accident happens, who's at fault? It is no longer the driver. So
This
is
is
it
another-
the company, the manufacturer, or whoever put the owner, who is at fault? So I think there are probably technological developments for which and the laws do not yet exist. And this is happening as today. The whole thing about drones and laws that govern where drones can fly and what can happen. I think this is all still very open. And I think the same is going to happen with the self-driving cars.
Okay, Dr. Sun, if they give you the chance, you will choose self-driving and drive by yourself.
So currently, I will prefer driving by myself.
You still have the by yourself, even
Yeah.
give you the car, the
Yeah.
self-driving car. You
Yeah.
still don't feel comfortable to drive and go outside. How about Dr. George? What is your opinion about the self-driving?
Well, it's going to come, it will be with us soon. Now, how soon exactly? I don't believe it's going to happen within the next 5 years. It's going to be maybe 15 years, 20 years, or even more than that. The reason being is that driving is a very difficult task when the environment is complex. Example, when it's within a city, when you have many pedestrians, many distractions, many cars, and it's very difficult for even artificial intelligence to handle those situations, especially if they are unforeseen situations. And also, there are going to be many ethical problems. For example, a car, what if the self-driving car decides to drive into pedestrians to avoid a collision? And what if there are two groups of pedestrians? Which group of pedestrians to choose, basically to kill, so that the passengers are fine? What if the self-driving car decides that its own preservation is more important than humans? So it wouldn't hesitate, for example, to harm humans for the sake of its own preservation. So those are ethical questions that need to be addressed, and they point to the need that we have to be sure that the technology is well controlled, well understood, and also we should be able to avoid hijacking of cars through wireless means, which has happened.
Which has happened.
Which has happened, so that bad people wouldn't take control of a car and do bad things. So there are many issues to be resolved, but I think the main one is the complexity of the environment. And we hear the successes of self-driving cars, but those are usually in well-controlled environments or environments where the complexity is a lot lower than in other general places like centers of cities.
Okay, so how does matter how much the AI will bring the problem to our human being? It is no doubt AI is a huge revolution to our human being life. So thank you, three doctors who come to our Zhou show today. But before I let you go, I want to ask you the last question. What do you predict the AI will bring to the world? That means what AI will bring to the future of the world? Dr. Stern.
I think one thing that AI will bring to the future is that it will empower individuals with injury and disability. I think people who cannot walk will walk. I think people who have mental deficiencies will be able to overcome those. I can see that in the future.
Wow, that's positive. Thank you.
So in my opinion, I think AI will bring, more intelligent, robots, machines to every aspect of human's life. They will provide, better services, like in airport, in hospital, in schools, everywhere. Yeah.
Yes, I think that medicine is the area where there are going to be many advances, and it will benefit many people from different ailments, different limitations they have, humans, and also robots, because they can take care of the elderly and other people who cannot take care of themselves. That would be a big area. And in general, artificial intelligence will enrich our lives by having better experience and be more efficient at things that we do inefficiently today.
Hi everybody, thank you watching Zhou show. AI is good or bad, is a huge revolution to our human being life.